Now, one thing I definitely want to do better going into FM24 with this kind of series is to make notes before episodes, to make notes throughout a season so I don't forget to tell you things. Now, in the last video, I said I wanted to show you something about affiliate clubs. Completely forgot to then show you that during the episode. So good job, me. So I'm now going to say I'll show you it in this episode and then hope I don't forget to show you it in this episode. We'll see how that goes, shall we? So welcome to the channel, welcome to the series. This is the start of season 2044. Thank you for joining me. My name is Paul, also known as the Northman. You join us in the Faroe Islands where we've just won the title again. We are dominating domestically, not so much continentally. Continentally. Is that a word? I mean, potentially. So a couple of things to point out at this point. We have two players on the substitute bench for the under-19 best team of the year, the FIFA Pro. We have Tenebur, our right winger, and one of our young Belarusian wingers, Lazarus, who obviously I've pronounced very well, who's been pretty much in our B team, a little bit in our first team this year as well. Doing fairly well, yep. Team of the year, well, subs bench. Good job, him. Most promising Finnish player went to our young on loan Sineni, so well done to him. Under 21 player of the year went to Turo, I'm going to call him, who's been on loan at KI last season. Been with us a while now. I do want to try to cement him on a new contract. I say try. Later in the episode, I would just show you that I'd actually confirmed it. Now, Mishan won Danish Male Player of the Year. We had three players in the Danish Team of the Year. Munksgaard, goalkeeper, Meng in defence, and Mishan up top. But before we get anywhere further, I want to jump in and show you that going into the season, we have two confirmed affiliate clubs. I do have another one in Finland in the process again confirmed. So we now have Esbjerg in Denmark, who are in the second tier of Danish football. They are a feeder club for us. We loaned a couple of players near the end of last season when I forgot to mention what we've done. It's a partnership for players being loaned, but also I asked the board to look for this partnership to improve our scouting knowledge and just link with a club where we get first option. So we have Esbjerg as a feeder club. We can send players to them on loan. So nice to send off some young talent to get football in Denmark, and nice that we get first option of players from them. And Halmstads as well, who again play in the top flight now. Yeah, they play in the top flight of Swedish football then. So we have them, and again, it's the same idea. We have an option to get first. We get first option to sign players from them, but also we get to send players to Sweden on loan. And it's going to be the same for this club from Finland, where we are going to get first option on their players, and we get to send players to Finland on loan. We've struggled so much to get players out on loan, and the thought of having 3 or 4 players playing together at a club really can boost their dynamics of working together. Now, going into the season, some up and down transfer-wise, some up and down. We've lost 2 players who I probably didn't want to let go, but due to them crying like absolute babies, we had to let go. Now, we need to remember, we're still in that position where players want to move to better leagues. And we've had that situation with Munksgaard. Now, he went to Copenhagen, ended up coming back to us. He's now gone again. Now, I did secure him on loan for the season, as somebody upstairs falls over, judging by the noise. So he is with us for this year, but unfortunately we've lost him again. So going through then the transfers out. Clement, our young Spanish defender, has gone to KI on loan. As soon as this loan option came in, the chance to send him to a club in our league and keep him in our league is something I wanted to do. He's going to help them and hopefully help them in Europe. So he's gone. Another player going to another club in our league is Millingsting. Now, he is a young defender who I have a lot of hope for. National team player. Vikingur Goethe wanted him. And again, I'm thinking, gets him football and hopefully will help them in Europe. Jonsson has gone to Esbjerg. Now again, a player I have a lot of hope for. I offered him out to clubs in our nation first. They didn't want him, weirdly. So he's gone to Esbjerg now and he's going to get football there. Exi, our young striker, has gone to Halmstad. Now he's actually Swedish, so sending him back to Sweden on loan, it was a no-brainer for me. Again, first I offered him out to players in our league. Again, nobody was interested. Now somebody did put in the comments, it's a weird-ass bug. If you offer a player for free, no wages, nothing, who is better than anybody in your club, why would you reject it? But clubs in our league are doing that. It's very annoying. Now, the first player who I really didn't want to sell, we just praised him in the last episode, is Pettersson, our goalkeeper, our central defender, who was just quality. And the worst thing out of it all was after he complained and complained, we could only get 4 million from him. 4 million. We paid 3.8. We had him for a year. Sold him for 4 million. Now the positive I want to say is we got 4 million plus 50% of next sale. He's now valued up to 34 million. So if he goes for say 34 million, we will get 17. Quick math, slow. 17 million we will get. So we do have a chance to make insane money from him, but I'm sad he's left us. I really am. Another player who's gone after a good few years with us is Madrigal. He's ended up going to Molde for only 1 million. Now, we've gone for nothing. He was with us for 5 years. We sold him for 1 million plus 50% of next sale. He dropped down the pecking order to third/fifth choice in defensive. Sorry, third/fourth. 4 comes after 3, Paul. Third/fourth choice in defensive mid. I let him go. More due to the fact of how much I like him, I let him go. I don't want to see him just rotting and not getting game time, so we've let him go. 1 million plus 50%. Eduardo, one of our young players who we signed, has gone to Esbjerg on loan, so hopefully he can do well there. Munksgaard went for 7 million, going up to 8.75 million, plus a percentage of next sale to Watford. Like I say, we got him back on loan for this season, but unfortunately he is gone and we now need to look at finding a goalkeeper for the long term. Now, Marius Pettersson has gone to Halmstad. Again, a young a young centre midfielder who I have hope for because he's only just joined us. But again, was he going to be in the first team this year? No. I offered him out to clubs in our league, and again, clubs didn't want him. I just don't get that. So we've ended up sending him off to Halmstad, and hopefully he can get some football there in the top flight in Sweden. Now, the next sale is probably going to have you scratching your heads, and it definitely did that for me. Linnerud, after how many years with us? After what, since 2037 till 2044, early on he's left us. We paid 3 million for him, and we've ended up selling him for only 825k. Very disappointed because he was a top player, 28 years old now. We got 825k plus 50% of next sale, so hopefully he has another move in a year or two. But it's just sad, but they came in, he came in and said, look, I really want to go, this is a club I want to join. I said, please don't go. Then some other players in the squad got upset that we weren't letting him move. So he's gone. It's upsetting, to be honest with you. And the next player who's gone is our young Czech defender. We signed him. He went to TB for 2 years after we signed for 900k. Then we've ended up now selling him for 1.8 million plus 50% of next sale. It's not a big piece of money in, but it wasn't even close to our first team, to be honest. And I've tried to cut down how big our squad was when you look at the amount of sales we've done. And the next player is Anzo. Now, this is a player I actually had a lot of hope for. He looks really, really good. Unfortunately, he kicked up a fuss and refused to come to training. So we paid 1.2 million for him. We've ended up selling him for 1.4 plus 50% of next sale. So again, we might end up getting about 5, 6, 7 million if he moves on. He's not a bad player, really good passing attribute, but There's nothing you can do when these players are kicking up and refusing to play or refusing to train. So the last 4 players have all gone out on loan. So Rani Alberg, again a player who I wanted to stay in the Faroe Islands, but nobody would loan him, has gone to Silsborg in Denmark, and then going off to Yev, again a player I wanted to keep within the league structure, a Latvian international. He's gone to Yev this season on loan. Going off to Honka to try to get some football and hopefully develop is Turo. Now, he has signed a new deal, so he's with us till 2048. He's going to have a year in Honka, then I think he's hopefully going to come in and be one of our backups in central defence for the season after. And then finally, going to our feeder club, Halmstad, is Gutterson. Now, Halmstad actually came in and put an offer for him, so he's gone off to them. Again, wasn't going to be anywhere near our first team. Again, wanted to leave. Again, complained. Quite a lot of players in our squad have complained. Quite a lot have left due to the amount of complaining they did. So, I've got through all the complaining. I've got through all the players who've left. Let's look at the ins. So, first off, Floriente Bognone for £120,000 comes in as a potential attacking midfielder. Now, he has a lot of down arrows since he joined us. A lot. But he's not the worst player, 18 years old. We picked him up after he came in the under-18s team of the year, so we'll see how he develops. The next one was Paulo Edrado, who we'd already looked at. He's now gone on loan to Esbjerg, potentially could develop into something. Foda Diallo, a Guinean international, 4 caps, 18 years old. Very good finish and first touch, good flair, decent determination, good personality. Very solid looking player. He's going to be in our B team this year, stroke under 18s, and we're just going to see how he develops. 83k, you can't go wrong. Now for 800k, Munoz comes in and he looks insane. Now he's going to be in our first team, squad player, contractual agreement, and I think he could develop into something very special. Let me know below what you think. 18 years old, Argentine, cost us 800k. There's definitely profit in him, but in general I think he could be a good player. The next one is our first signing from Esbjerg. Now again, we had first option on players. A club came in and put in a bid for him, so we said, you know what, I'll give you 500k for him, because I think he could develop into a good player. He's going to play in our youth team, hopefully can develop, and we'll see what happens. Now the next player we looked at is somebody who I actually had hope would be in our first team this year, but hasn't developed how I hoped. We agreed to sign him over a year ago from Valerenga for 5 million. I hoped his passing would have gone up to like 10, 11 by the point, because look at his mentals. His mentals are insane. And that's what made me think with his tackling of 15, this guy could become a top player. For some reason, it took a year for the deal to go through. So he's now 19, still only has passing of 8. He's not what I hoped. And I honestly think we might have wasted money on him, to put it lightly. Now, the next sign for £20,000 could be one of the signs of the series. Mohammed Al-Zawawi, I feel like I nailed that. Jordan international, 32 caps, age 19. Attribute-wise, just looks insane. Comes as a squad player. I'm honestly shocked by how good this guy is. Now, what I would say is we have too many foreign players. We do. So we need to focus on the next couple of years again, which we've done in the past, on only signing players from the Northern European clubs. But when you look at our squad going into this season, I think we've got some talent. We do have some injuries as well. So it's Munksgaard in goal, who we need to look at replacing this season. Zoenga is going to be our first choice right back this year. He's good enough, 20 years old. Was waiting for that chance to become first choice full back, right back, wing back, whatever you want to say. He is going to get that time this year. In central defence, and moving up from our youth team, is Henriksson, who can move up. Yes, it's sad to lose the Swedish central defender, but Henriksson is good enough. alongside Michael Meng, who still wants to leave if an offer comes in, but at 26 now, been with us since a teenager. I just wish he would get them that Faroe Islands nationality so we can give him a cap. First game of the season, Basole, our young central midfielder, who is left-footed, is going to play left-back due to some injury issues. Gonzalez in defensive mid, who we obviously signed back from Porto last season. Muniz is going to start in central midfield, but I'm not sure on if it's him or if it long-term would be Mohamed, but Mohamed's injured for this game, so makes the selection quite easy. Maybe Michael Meng could... Sorry, not Michael Mang. Mishan could play in central midfield this season as well. That's an option. On the right wing today is Sundstrom. Gonzalez in attacking mid, who didn't have the best season last year, but we'll see how he does. Midskogen and Little Scarver. So injuries going into the season is Bjorn Haag, Mishan, Tenneber, Nylander is back from his loan last year, Hansen and Mohamed. Nylander coming back as an option to play left or right fullback. He is also fairly strong on the left foot, so if we play him there, we don't have to worry. 19 years old, for $1 million. He covers both fullback options. Honestly, think it's a decent player. And Mohamed. On the bench for today's game is Schmidt, Christensen, Ingolson, Gregory, Lervig, Scher and Mortensen, who, if needed next season, can be our first choice keeper. But I would rather see if we can find a better keeper. But Munksgaard on loan for this season, and then he's leaving us again. Will he come back later in the save? Who knows at this point? Who knows? Now, quick mention that our B team going into this season is not as deep as in the past, because a lot of players have been going out on loan. If we click to remove players who are not at the club, you can see the team looks a lot shorter, a lot thinner than it has in previous seasons. But there is some depth in there. There is some quality, likes of Sene, who we picked up last season, is going to be in the B team this year. And he is a player of high quality. Diogo is going to be in the B team this year, and again a player who does have high quality, could move up to the first team in future years. You've got Martin Jonsson's going to be on the bench according to this in our FL B team, who again is just a player we really do like and does have a lot of potential for the future. And Jorhus, who again, a player who I do think has a lot of potential. There's some people in this club, in the B team, in the youth team, who long term could be top players. Now, a mention for our new assistant manager, as we discussed in the last episode. Our assistant manager was due to retire. Rick Rensmer, he was at the club. You can see this just on the column as a coach. He has been at the club since 2034 as a coach. So going into his 10th season, he moves from coach to assistant manager, and I like that idea. 47 years old, could be with us for another 10 years, so that could be 20 years in general with us, 10 years as a coach, then 10 as an assistant manager. But all in all, the club as a whole is looking very strong going into a new season, and we've now played obviously over 1,000 games as manager. There's an election coming up, in fact actually on today, but it never changes anything. It's just a new guy at the top. Finances never change, club never changes, direction never changes. So yeah, we keep pushing on. We keep doing what we can do. I would like to look at maybe adjusting ourselves tactically this season. I have been working on this kind of a tactic for away games in the Champions League. I would like to maybe use it a bit more in league games, just so the players get a bit more familiar with it. But for now, we'll stick to what we know. I would like to look at seeing what we can change to make ourselves look better in Europe this season. That is definitely an aim, but I think that's an obvious aim every single season, to look better in Europe. The national team going into the new season, we are going to be looking at this team. We do have a couple of players I would like to look to bring in, but we have a few players out injured as well at the minute. But honestly, the national team is still just a background thing. We are nowhere near qualifying for anything. We are nowhere near being strong enough. The likes of Christiansen and Lervang in the last year coming into the national team has boosted us a little bit, but we are still a long way from being a national team where we can scream to the rooftops about how good we are. So that's just an unfortunate side effect. And like I say, FM24, when we go with a nation like Norway, I think we are going to do my local side, who started in third tier. So it's going to be build a club, then build a nation. I think being able to improve things will be more possible. Now, just going into the new season, one thing I do want to mention is I would like to be in a position where we don't actually sign any players for the first team over the next couple of years. I would like to add some Danish, some Swedish, some Finnish, some Icelandic and Norwegian 16 and 17-year-olds into our under-18s who work their way through the club. Our under-18s is looking a bit thin. I've loaned out a few players from it, and we need to add a bit more depth to it. So I would hope that the next few times we go onto the transfer screen, I've just gave you a bit of a spoiler, the next few times we go on the transfer screen, there's no one for the first team except, and that's where I shouldn't have clicked on the other screen, we have a signing coming in. We have a signing coming in. You can see I'm always working on deals. And we have this guy we're in the middle of trying to convince to come in, an El Salvador player, which is going to be a 17-year-old for the youth team. But we have a signing coming in from Juventus on a free transfer. And I wanted to show him as the final part of this video. So I kind of spoiled a bit by clicking on the wrong screen, but it's okay. Coming in on a free transfer. He's a central midfielder stroke striker, but he's going to come in as a central midfielder option. As a squad player, he is going to come in. And this guy looks insane. 22 years old. He is Italian, which goes against my hope of signing Northern European players, but I couldn't pass him up. First touch 16, finishing 13, dribbling 13, heading 13, so he's good in the air, long shots 10, passing 16, technique 16, work rate 16, teamwork 17, determination 14, composure 17. He just looks absolutely insane. Peluso comes in. He is going to come in time for our European adventure to start. And honestly, I'm over the moon with him. And honestly, I think this means in the next video, we are going to be hopefully discussing a very good European campaign. Now, what I want to ask in this video is, what do you want to see me do different in these videos? How do you want to see it presented differently? Please make sure you let me know in the comments below, because as I say, it's all building up and improving and step by steps to make this series and the next series and the season after that, the series after that, series after that, better and better. I've been Paul, also known as the Northman. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.